Hi everyone, my name is Guiney. I'm the admin principal in Killinure National School in County Limerick. I was previous teaching principal in Ula National School and I am the Limerick rep on the National Council. My quick tip that I want to share with you all is around the process involved in changing school uniform. So we recently completed this process in our school, and it actually was quite a positive. It was quite a positive journey. But the key word is journey here. Um, don't make any rash decisions, don't make any sudden decisions, and decisions have to emerge from a number of sources. It's not a top down kind of decision. We felt, going back, this in my school actually, this process took 2 years, so it's not a fast process, but I felt the 2 years were really beneficial because we got it over the line. So we're starting our new school uniform now in September. How I started, I felt the uniform myself needed to be updated. It had been there for 20 years. It was a lovely uniform. It had done it has done its time, and it had served a really good purpose. But we felt the time was now right to update it. So where do you begin? So that was fine to have my thought, and I know there are members out there are going to have a little giggle when they hear this, but it actually started around shorts in the schoolyard and how we were going to manage that. We didn't have shorts as part of our school uniform, so I decided we needed shorts. And then people were saying, well, the whole uniform needs to be kind of updated. I was like, well, we're in a different space now. Let's sit back and talk about it. So my leadership team sat with me and we spoke about it, and we had a really robust and really nice discussions around it. And we decided, let's move forward with this. We brought it to a whole staff level, and I surveyed all staff because I needed to know what my team felt about this before we went on this journey. The key about I suppose the key tip I would have about going on a journey of research or gathering evidence is you as a school leader need to take on board the feedback that comes. So we had a discussion as a leadership team. This may not go the way we want it, and we need to accept those results and that data also, and trust the process. So from there, we spoke with our leadership team, and I spoke with staff, and there was an overwhelming appetite for move forward on our uniform. So at that point, I spoke with my board and I said, look, this is the vibe that's coming up from staff. We feel our school uniform policy needs updating for various reasons. And the board said, look, yeah, proceed. You have I had their support to proceed and to maybe engage with the wider school community. So being children, the student council, parents council, and the wider parent population. So I surveyed the wider parent population initially because I felt if I didn't have the support from the parents, um, well, then the process wasn't going to really go very far. So we got an overwhelming response from the parent community of the parents that responded. We got an overwhelming feedback of to proceed and to research and look into it. So we felt we were in a positive space. So then we sat, the next step then had brought us a step closer to the uniform, and we were now in a space where, okay, the principal, the board, the leadership team, the staff, the parent population felt, yeah, let's look into this a bit further. And yes, there was an appetite for change there. So I met with the Parents Council, and I had my data from all the stakeholders that I had engaged in, including at that point the children in the school. Now the children were very excited about the idea of a new school uniform, but you know that's something that really motivates children. They like to see change and they like to see things happening, for the most part, in that regard, and it was very positive. So I sat with the Parents Council and we discussed options. We said this was the feeling on the ground. People want this, and we discussed options around cost. Um, and that's where I had a really sobering conversation actually with my Parents Council around, okay, this is going to cost, because that was a real factor, but where could we pull back on the cost? So could we meet the parents on this journey somewhere of pulling back the cost? But again, I remember going into that Parents Council meeting going, I need to be able to accept now what they say also. You can't consult for the sake of consultation. You need to consult to find out what the data is going to come up and how you're going to proceed. So the Parents Council were really supportive. There was a cost concern, but we came with a compromise around how we could reduce the cost. So I went back to the parents population and surveyed them again and said, this is what's happening. We're going to look at this further, and this is where we're going to pull back. And it went very, very well. Spoke to the student council as well, and this is where we had a different opinion from the parents council. So the student council wanted the whole uniform change. They wanted new t-shirt, new top, new pants, new shorts, everything. They were very excited about it and had great ideas. Whereas the parents council felt, we hear what the kids are saying, maybe we need to pull back on just the t-shirt. So what we ended up doing is changing the top, the pants and the shorts, and then just a regular t-shirt from Pennies or Duns. So everybody seemed to be kind of happy with this, and we got it over the line, and we brought back the policy to the board, and we went with the cheapest supplier, and we did a whole process of tendering for the cost as well. So it was a very transparent process, and I shared all that data with the board, and I shared that with Parents Council as well, and it was very positive. But the key message that I would give any school leader out there looking at implementing any sort of change, mine is specific to do with school uniform, but is the process, and the journey. And journey takes time. I'm there over 2 years, and I wanted to change the shorts the first year, and this is going into my third year, and it's only happening now. But that's okay. That's okay. It did take time, but time is really, really important piece. And listening to the voices, and I suppose it's really important to listen to the voices, but to actively listen to the voices. And I felt the process was very empowering. I felt the process was very, very, very positive in my context. You're not going to get 100% cooperation across the board. There are going to be certain cohorts that are going to say, look, we don't understand, we don't see why, cost, etc., and that they're all very valid. But in a whole, it was an extremely, extremely positive process. And I would actually go as far as saying built relationships. So while we were working on changing the uniform, and it was something that was very necessary for us, there was actually huge spin-offs also in terms of building relationships. I made contact with parents out there that in the community that I had never been in touch with before, and that was really positive. And I found the whole process was really, really worthwhile. But my key tip is time, patience, and consultation. And it's about gathering the troops and bringing everybody with you on the journey. You can't do it alone.